Welcome to this video. We have a special guest that is going to show you how to hit a better serve. Stay tuned to find out who he is.
Hello guys, my name is Hans Polimnik. I'm a professional tennis player. I just retired 3 weeks ago from the tour. I was playing ATP Cup in Australia. That was my last tournament. I was playing in my career Wimbledon quarterfinals, Olympics, all the slams, all the big tournaments, etc. And now I'm here with Tennis Beyond to show you how to serve. Alright guys, so one of the key things that I want to talk to you about, which is actually a very simple thing that you can fix in your serve, that I see a lot in the amateur tennis, is that many times you guys serve with the wrong toss. And even though you toss it wrong, you still serve it out, and you're just creating bad habits for your future, which is going to harm you even more for the long run. So one thing I would recommend is to try to practice your toss. The toss, what is important, as you can see in the video, is that the arm has to be extended and go all the way up. When we get nervous or when we play a match or a tournament and we're a bit nervous, we normally shorten the swing and we release the ball too early. What happens there is that the ball goes in front and then we cannot serve it. But you guys, many times you serve it anyway and then start creating bad habits and start messing with your serve. Serve is very important that you try to hit it as clean as possible. It is the hardest shot to learn, but also the easiest to practice because you can just go by yourself on court and just work on it with the basket, right? So I would say that you take the position and you practice to try to throw the ball every time in the same place and try to extend your arm all the way up. You don't need to do it fast, it just needs to be a good pace. So if you go too fast, you're still gonna hit it in front, right? But if you see my video, my arm is moving at the same pace and all the way up. That will help you a lot as a tip number one. All right, so tip number two, which is completely related to tip number one, is to create a routine for your serve that you keep it the same every time. If you mess with your routine, it's gonna also mess with your technique and with your serve in the long run. So I would say, if you see the professional players, they always do like 1 to 3 bounces, or everybody's different, but they do it consistently the same every single time. Also, breathing before the serve and visualizing is something that we do a lot, that helps a lot to find the right direction or to hit it as we want to hit it. So I think as a tip number two, that's very important that you guys try to remember to have the same routine every time, to practice your own routine, what works best for you, and that will help you ultimately for the future too. All right, so the third tip that I would say is that many times I see players trying to serve from the weirdest positions possible, and that's actually related to the tip number one about the toss, where everything is related in the serve. So what I say normally is, like, imagine you have a rock in your hand and you want to throw it as far as possible. You wouldn't do it like this or like this, right? You're gonna use all your body and try to go with all your body forward. Well, the serve is exactly the same, so you could actually do it just to see the difference. If you take something and you just want to throw it as far as possible, you're gonna use absolutely every single muscle from your body. The serve is exactly the same. You go on the side, exactly like you wanted to throw this stone, and try to prepare and just go load all the way, bend your legs, twist your bodies to create rotation and acceleration, and then you just load and explode all the way up, and that'll create the power and the positioning to create a good and powerful serve. All right, so when you get the position to generate power from your body, you start with the legs, right? So you take a position which is sideways. The same example like throwing the rock, right? You're not gonna throw a rock like this. You don't generate enough power. So you take this position, and then as you toss and you start preparing to serve, you rotate with your body and you start bending your legs to create power. That's the first step to creating a powerful serve. This creates the momentum, the rotation, that's gonna ultimately after create a powerful serve. All right, so everybody's different. Some players bend the legs more, some players bend the legs less. I used to bend them a lot. I used to generate a lot of power from my legs. So it's actually, everybody's technique is different, but what's important to notice that bending the legs is very important. no matter if you do it a little or more. Some people are more explosive, some people are less explosive. So I used to be not so explosive, so I needed to generate a lot of power from my legs. So I used to go all the way down here sometimes to generate the power that I needed to create a powerful serve. Normally when I'm serving, so I'm in this position, and from the rock example, you can see that if you're gonna throw it as far as possible, you are rotating almost like giving your back to the opponent. In the serve, it's kinda, you prepare and you go with your left shoulder to your opponent, basically. That's the rotation that you need to create that momentum and that power. So from the loading position, you have your legs bended, right? You create this arch with your back that's also kind of helping this whip ultimately in this power. So this arch is also, this rotation of the back is also helping you to create this power. So everything that's actually bending, rotating, and ultimately rotating forward and up to create the power of serve is actually what's going to help you to create this powerful serve. Everything in your body is related to the serve. From your legs to the arch in your back, everything is creating power ultimately. So important about the arms in the serve is that your arms stay relaxed. You cannot serve a ball or throw a rock if your arms are super tense. It's impossible to create this momentum or this whip to throw it far. So when you're serving, it's exactly the same. Your racket and your arm are acting as a whip, so it has to be super relaxed. If you see the good players, they'll always hear their arm is super relaxed. So that's actually the key to create like a powerful serve, that it was gonna follow all the momentum of your body and create that whip that's gonna create a powerful serve. All right, so when you're in the trophy position, it's very important that you keep the stability of your body. So remember tip number one, to stretch your left arm all the way up. That also creates stability for your body. If you release it early or the left arm is down, then all your body is crumbling, like you have no stability, and then your serve can go everywhere. That's why it's important to serve to always keep stability. When you're in the trophy position, it's very important that your left arm is all the way up. That gives stability to your body. And then the right arm is relaxed and in the position of loading with the continental grip, or normally the hammer grip as we call it sometimes. And you're loaded with the arm up with the stability of your body, and then that's the moment that when your arm is relaxed that you can release and create that power. So before I do contact with the ball, I'm always thinking what serve I wanted to do. As a pro, like, we always choose the direction that we're gonna give the ball. So if I'm gonna go flat, then I think that in the pronation moment, or when I'm about to hit the ball, I am hitting a more flat serve. So I'm thinking to dunk the ball and hit it more flat. But when I'm going wide, I'm thinking to maybe take a little pace off the ball and try to aim better with the angle and go with more slice. So I try to take the grip for a more slice serve. So everything that I do after all this motion and I'm about to hit the ball, then it just boils down to what kind of serve you want to do, and then you just adapt accordingly. All right, so after you hit the ball in the serve, it's very important that you don't think so much where your arm is gonna go. If you're hitting a fluid serve and with a great momentum, with the right toss and everything, like your arm is just gonna follow through automatically. You don't need to think about where my arm should finish and things like this. You're automatically gonna, if you go T, your arm automatically is gonna go in one direction. So I recommend that you just think about the serve of something like has to be very fluid and in one motion, right? And not think so much what happens after, because your body will adapt accordingly. I think the serve is one of the hardest shots to learn, and it's very interesting because it's one of the easiest shots to improve, because you can go by yourself on a tennis court and you don't need a partner to go and practice, right? So I think it's very important that we have the patience with the serve, since it's very technical, that we take our time and that we try to generate and create good habits for the long run. We're thinking that we want to serve good for many years, and we want to take care of our bodies, that with the right technique you are not gonna get injured. If you toss it wrong many times and you still serve it out, you're just harming yourself. you're not gonna win points, you're gonna generate anxiety for your tennis, and all of these bad things that we want to avoid. So my name is Hans Polemik. I'm a professional tennis player, former professional tennis player, and I want to thank Tennis Beyond for having me here. Bye bye.